Just by way of introduction to our webinar, we've got a great set of topics for everybody on the call. I think it's going to be a really interesting conversation with my esteemed colleague from Amdocs, and we're going to be just showing a couple of brief introduction slides, and then we're just going to open it up to a conversation about how communication service providers are going to transform to a more digital model in a post-COVID world. So we'll go ahead and get started. As I had mentioned, I'm joined by Arel Givon from Amdocs. Arel, I'd like to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself as well as give the audience a brief introduction to Amdocs.
Sure, Eric, thank you. And good morning, afternoon, evening, guys. Wherever you are, of course. Excited to be here with my colleague, Eric. So my name is Arel Givon. I'm a division president in Amdocs, covering the EMEA, India, and Telefonica Global territory. I'm more than 17 years in Amdocs. In the middle, I phased out to a company called Radcom to run their business, and then I was called back 2.5 years ago to run the EMEA division, and that was extended to India and Telefonica. So before COVID, I was meeting customers physically on a weekly basis. Now it's more challenging. I believe we will cover it in the Q&A also, Eric. So this is who I am. I'm a proud father of 4 kids. My base is in Israel, but if I to be more accurate, before COVID, my base was in seat 7C in one of the airplanes. And now let's move maybe to the ones that by mistake don't know Amdocs. Who is Amdocs? So Amdocs is a global leader in digital telco transformation and in telco services at all. The company is listed in Nasdaq, north of 4 billion of revenue, touching on a daily basis to our systems and services deployed globally, more than 3 billion people and consumer. Amdocs has 26,000 professionals all over the world, with significant impact and work in all over the globe. So from Latin America to North America to Europe, India. Now the Middle East is a growing area for us, which is also exciting. So a really well-rounded, pretty healthy financially company with more than 500 operating cash flow a year, and relationship also with a lot of media companies. So a few years ago, we acquired Ubiquity, a company that is dealing with all the studios, dealing with content and operation of media services. So we expanded from telco to media, but this is our business. We are not multi-industry. Yes, we have some business in the financial services, but we are being called in the market, I hope it's an appropriate term, telco animals. So we really live and breathe the telco world. Working over 85 countries with more than 350 CSPs all over the world, different tier level. Of course, we are focused on tier 1 and 2, but we are working also with lower tiers and adjusting ourselves to the operation model there. It's pretty rare to find a company like us with more than 35 years in the industry and focusing on the same industry. So each in few years, we are reinventing ourselves. So Amdocs started with the Yellow Pages services, then the billing and the CRM and digital and media and others. So we are kind of reinventing ourselves and reevaluating our strategy to better serve the telcos with a lot of projects and productions. There is a unique business model of Amdocs that is unlike other customers and vendors or partners in this industry. We are deploying and operating our solution. So we are investing in R&D north of $300 million a year. It's only in telco. So we are the ones that end-to-end accountability. We are designing it, deploying it, operating it for our customers in a sole accountability model. It's not must, but most of our customers selecting it. And basically the other SIs don't know so much how to operate our system. So it's a pretty unique model. Most of the customers, as evident by our growth and by our customer base, do like it because they want a single accountability model. And we are very innovative. We have several innovation centers, of course, one in Israel, together with our customers, by the way. They like it as well, to keep and certify startups to work with them. It's injection also of innovation to their business. We have a lot of IP, M&As that is ongoing, and so on and so forth. But the most important thing is our vision. Our vision is to enrich lives and progress society with creativity and technology. Before doing good business, we want to do good. And that's our mission and vision. So this is a really snapshot about Amdocs.
Excellent. That was a wonderful introduction, and I think that it really speaks. When we talk about reinventing and adapting to the modern world, that's what this webinar is actually about, right? We have to adapt, and we have to grow in our business models. So that's wonderful. So just a quick introduction to myself. My name is Eric Hale. I'm head of sales enablement at Creatio. My role really is to align our go-to-market strategy from an operational, sales, and marketing perspective. I've been in the industry for 20 plus years. I don't know if you can see, I get a lot of gray hair in this picture, Aurel. But I've also been working for a large telecom here in the US for a number of years, so very familiar with the models, the challenges and growth goals for telecommunication service providers. So I've been with Creatio for 3 years, both on the individual contributor side, but now managing, like I said, our go-to-market strategy. And like Aurel, I've got 2 children. Mine are a little older, both graduating from university this year. So interesting time for me, interesting time for them. It's taking a lot away from them, but still, they're able to graduate and walk down an aisle, which is good. So just a quick introduction to Creatio. We are a global organization. We're headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts, here in the US, where I sit. But we are geographically dispersed all around the globe. We have 5 offices to support the thousands of customers that have chosen the Creatio platform as their way of adapting to changing business models. We're a low-code application design platform with a business process management engine and a unified CRM that sits on top of it. So throughout this pandemic, we've recognized the need for organizations to kind of be able to pivot and adapt to change rapidly. So our platform actually fits directly into those business goals. We have 650 employees. Interesting fact about that, nearly half of our employees are focused on the R&D of our product. So we really try to keep that modern and meeting business requirements across multiple industries, including communications and telecom. We have a very robust partner network that helps us reach into 110 countries across the globe, including our strategic partner that we have on the call now, Amdocs. We look to our partners to help grow our business as well as partner on applications. So just a little bit about the recognition. I won't get into too much of that, but both the company and our product have been highly recognized by leading industry analysts at Gartner and Forrester, including being named to 2 Gartner Magic Quadrant leader categories for Salesforce automation as well as lead management. And our vision, as it says here on the bottom of the screen, is to enable our customers to create and implement any business idea in minutes utilizing our low-code application development tools. So really speaking to the ability to remain agile and adapt to changing business environments. So that's a little bit about Creatio and our goals and our vision in terms of communication service providers. So I think at this point we should move on to the question section. Aurel, what do you think?
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Excellent. So I think a good place to start, and what will enable us to get the ball rolling, Aurel, is that we know that you in your role, you're talking to communication service providers probably on a daily basis, and as you've been talking to them over the last year, What have been their priorities, and how do you think that's going to change as we kind of move out of this period into some sense of normalcy, I guess, in the future here?
Well, Eric, that's more than a valid question, and it's frankly, I was traveling prior to the COVID-19 on a weekly basis, to you name it. And since 24th of February, this is my last travel when I was landing here in Israel and go to quarantine. Since then, I didn't have any business travel. And it's make me think, because business continues, what exactly, how we are adjusting ourselves and how the CSPs are doing. So first, they had several priorities and several trends that got acceleration because of the COVID situation. So one is enabling the continuous work of the sales force to do it remote. We, of course, in Amdocs, but also our customers, the carriers of the telcos, used to do anything in person and in a physical state. So they need to move from a physical traditional sales, and they need to go their business and continue and sign new customers without shops, without anything, to do it much more digitally. And we will refer to it in the next few questions. Also, from operation perspective, they do, think about it. In the old world, I mean more than a year ago, data centers were everything but physical. So you need the engineers to be there and everything. Because of the lockdown, the quarantine, and other, everything should have been done remotely. We in Amdocs shifted in 45 days all our 26,000 employees to do everything remotely. I can share with you an interesting story. In Tri Ireland, which is a very respectful customer of Amdocs, we just concluded when the COVID emerged. We just concluded the digital transformation, including migration and production and several go live. So the first go live was in November 2019. And I was there. It was the first go live of this very, very complex PSS systems. And we were flying, the site of Amdocs was like 50, 60 people, and we were flying only for the production weekend around 150 people from all over the world to support the production, to make everything in place. And of course, a similar amount of people from the business and the IT of Tri Ireland was there in Dublin. Very exciting, went well. And the second go live was, and final migration was planned for mid-March, if I'm not mistaken. And then the COVID was there already. So we had extensive discussions with the management of Tri Ireland and we here in Amdocs, and eventually we did it without any single person, developer, engineer, tester on site. Everything was done remotely, and it went live, the second phase, with the migration of 2 million subscribers flawlessly. Their offices were closed. If you have asked me or someone in Amdocs or you guys, if this could be done remotely before the COVID, of course, everyone would have said no. And since then, by the way, we are doing around 80 to 90 deployments, major deployments in a quarter, all over the world, flawlessly. And most of the places are still in lockdown or in semi-lockdown. So this gives us a lot of food for thought for what will be post-COVID, when the post-COVID is coming. Our customers are really focusing on the home connectivity and media as a growth engine. If before COVID, they left the home and the connectivity to the traditional fixed line companies, we all understand when everyone is at home, it creates different business model, different commercial model, and different customer experience focus. So you see a lot of focus. If before that it was on the 5G, it's moved during the COVID to a lot of investment in fiber and in the last mile and all things that we heard before. For mobile carriers, it's equally important today to sustain the growth. And on a different kind of perspective, we also did a survey within Amdocs with some of our customers, within 3,000 people that were responding in 10 countries. What is the things that are more, we call it the great indoors. What is the things that are more concerning the people during the COVID? And we did it, we were following up on this. It was not a one occasion, it was several times to check and see the progress that we, as a people-centered organization, doing also with our employees and people. So 50% of the people are concerned about their internet stability at home. Think about it. Many of their kids are are taking the studies over Zoom, and there is a lot of load on that. So internet and stability of the service, while the demand for those voice or data services increased by hundreds of percentages in some of the countries, it's the #1 concern that they have working from home. There were a few other things that were interesting, but not surprising because it happens to all of us. Almost a third of the people that work from home express the need for resiliency, for a dedicated internet connection. Think what it does to the CSP, how they need to adjust themselves. Another third of the people were basically concerned that the increase in consumption and how it's attributed to the work and keep the same level of engagement. And what's mostly interesting, almost 40% of the people were predicting, and I'm sure it's not surprising you guys and ladies, that they will continue to work from home heavily after the pandemic ends. We all believe, and that's how our customers and we prepare ourselves, that the phenomena that we have experiencing during the COVID will not disappear, vice versa. They will get different variations of it, and work from home will continue to be, and we see it by Google, what they are announcing, and other companies. They are not asking the people to come back to the office, vice versa. So that will require the CSPs and us to adjust our business solutions to our customers. Few other priorities that were accelerating, by the way, Amdocs was one of the leaders in this area, is the migration to the cloud. Cloud allows a lot of agility and reduce the need for investment in CapEx. It's moving to SaaS model. So moving to the cloud, and Amdocs has done it with its technology 2-3 years ago. So we are fully cloud native. So working with AWS, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure, and other smaller companies that are focusing on cloud native technology is key focus for our customers, although they are all working also in hybrid models. So they are not doing it blindly. There should be a business case. There are things that need to be on-prem. We will refer to it after it, Eric and the team. And another phenomena that we saw, so Amdocs, I think it was 3 years ago, launched an eSIM solution. It's, it's a full-packed BSS solution, implemented within 3 to 6 months for eSIM. Everyone is talking about that Apple Watch is already eSIM, but their new phones will probably be not dual SIM, but only eSIM, and same for the Android ones. So eSIM was always there, but what we happen to see, think about it, if you have a plastic SIM versus eSIM, and the customer experience impact, and your phone is not working well, and during the COVID, the shops were closed, so they need to send technician to your home or someone to replace the plastic SIM. With eSIM, it's a software, you can do it remotely. So we see a significantly higher demand for eSIM solution from all over the globe, our customers, Cellcom in Israel, Telefonica in Chile and Brazil, many others. Only in the last, 8 to 10 months, we launched only in my division, in the territory, in the customer, my division, between 6 to 8 eSIM solutions, because the carriers understand that beyond the technology side of the eSIM, it's also a way to digitally communicate with their customers. And so sometimes you even identify the issue in the eSIM, you solve it before the customer knows that he had the issue with his SIM. So eSIM is another phenomenon that got acceleration. And so I can speak about it forever, but Eric, I believe you have a few other questions you would like to refer to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I couldn't agree with your points more. Even from a sales perspective, I could have never imagined, closing a deal remotely without, being across the table from somebody and shaking their hand. But we've been able to remain effective remotely. So, we think that's changing the business model. And, to your point about, the demand on communication service providers now, if you're in a house where, you've got 3 people on Zoom and there's trouble with the, with the internet connection, that's going to prompt a call into that communication service provider. So they're having to really adapt, the way that they support their customer. To your point, you can't walk into a shop. You can't just go see somebody physically or have a technician come out. It's how do we support that remotely? And I think that, that's a challenge, right? You have to come up with new technology and new ways of creating that same level of experience remotely. So, the reliance on technology going forward is going to be, very, very, very important. And so that brings me to the next question, Earl. And this is really surrounding, business models, right? Traditionally, CSPs have been primarily consumer-driven in terms of their revenue models. How do you think that's changed by the pandemic?
That's a very, very interesting question, and it's a change that we are still experiencing and learning. Think about it, Eric and the team and the audience here. There was a clear distinction between consumer and enterprise until the COVID. You were going to work, you're working at work, you have your desktop, you have your services from your employer, and you are at home. When you're at home, you have the services from at home. So during the COVID, that all the distinction between working from home and working at home and working at work had been diminished. So the pandemic brought the rise of a new creature, which is the enterprise consumer. Basically, you need to enable our customers that had also a clear distinction between B2B and B2C services. Some of it called EBU and CBU. There are different, SMBs versus large enterprises. It's a bit getting vague because think about it, when an employee is at home, he is both an employee and a person with a family, and you need to provide to him virtually a lot of your enterprise services so he can continue to work from home like he is at work. That's created the enterprise consumer. We must allow the employees, and that's an essential thing for the economy, for the success of our customers and their customers, to be productive and effective and have all the security, for example, at home. Now, you cannot change the entire infrastructure at home. You need to come with different model. For example, the hybrid billing, how to split the bill between the personal, the private services that you or me or someone else is consuming at home versus his work-related services, his enterprise-related services. It's a different concept. Because of the clear distinction that we had between B2B and B2C, today you need system, solution, digital, and BI that will smoothly adjust themselves and adjust the customer to provide in the same time, to the same address, and to the same person, enterprise services and private services. And this is a change that got a huge acceleration as part of the pandemic, and when we all understood that it's not that in 1 or 2 months we will go back to our traditional way of working, and it's created a lot of challenge, positive challenge to companies like Amdocs and to Creatio, how to come with technology that gradually and flawlessly support this model of enterprise and consumer services at one. Look on some of our customers that either didn't put a lot of focus on their B2B business, like 3UK. 3UK, is the niche player, the best network in 3. They are maybe number 4 in terms of number of subscribers, but they are highest ARPU. They opened, with our support, of course, as prime system integrator, a new lines of business of B2B, because also traditional consumer players understand that if they will not be, at least like they are in consumer, a very relevant player in the B2B domain, that put in risk their consumer services as well. Mm-hmm. Look on Comcast. Comcast Business is one of the main growth engine with a great customer of Amdocs, and also Sky now, who was merged into Comcast. We are building to them platform, and they're also a cable company. They understand that they need to provide a very diverse and creative EBU, enterprise and consumer solutions, both for the cable and for the mobile, because all the distinctions between the two segments are basically not relevant, some of them anymore. Same if you look on Asia Pacific, look on PLDT. Between them and Globe, the number 1 or 2, but it's changing almost on a monthly basis. Who is number 1 and number 2? They selected to accelerate the digital transformation and start with the enterprise business, because through the enterprise, PLDT would like to get also to the consumer. And think about it, for example, if PLDT or Globe or Comcast are serving Coca-Cola as an enterprise, suddenly they have an access to all the people that are working in Coca-Cola, but are also a potential consumer subscribers for PLDT, Globe, or Comcast in this case. So everything here, including the operation model, including the serving in parallel the new enterprise consumer, it's something that required from companies like Amdocs to evolve their technology and to enable those very important services and mixture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the wonderful points as well, and an interesting take on the business model. I hadn't thought about that crossover between the two, and looking at it from a split perspective. And I think that's really where having been engaged with Amdocs for a number of years now, that's really where you guys are providing a great service to CSPs. And and I think that you're absolutely right. You have to adapt that model if you're going to remain relevant and remain in growth mode. And that kind of is a nice lead in to our next question, Arel, is that analysts are predicting that most CSPs will get to some level of modest growth here in 2021. But they're predicting that it's going to take up to 3 years to get back to pre-COVID levels. What are you hearing from your customers? Are they more optimistic than what the analysts are saying?
Yeah, well, it's the 1 billion, trillion, whatever question that you can ask indeed. First, formally, I think there are no really fresh forecasts from analysts and others. The one that we have 10 months ago, I think it's a different generation if you compare it to now. So I think also our customers are you see it all over their financial reporting. They are very hesitating in releasing their annual forecast. But what we do see, personally, I do not believe, again, I'm not the greatest economist, one of the greatest economists in the world, but I don't think the thing will take 3 years, because nothing in today's world is taking 3 years. We see acceleration in the growth in the last quarter or two compared to the initial assumptions. So everyone said, yes, in mid-2021, there will be, the recovery will start, but it is accelerated. And also interesting things that when we analyzed some of the financial reporting for our customers and their economical strength, although some of them experience a slowdown or a decrease in the year-over-year growth, almost all of them, other than one episodical quarter here or there, managed to improve their profitability. There was a lot of focus, a major focus on profitability, and you saw many cases that customers lost 5-6% year-over-year revenue, even in several quarters, consecutive quarters, but the profitability level increased. And this is good. Why? Because when they are saving in OpEx and they are not releasing a lot of people to home, but still maintaining the workforce, their ability to recover is much faster, because they are still generating cash flow. They are very selective in their investment, but when times comes, and it's starting to come, we will see much more selective but bullish investment in technology that will serve the digital journey, the cloud journey, and becoming a much more customer experience focused carrier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's I like you, I'm not an economist, but I feel that in the model that we're in, just in any business, any industry, we're adapting more and more to this remote work mentality. People are making more and more demands on CSPs, right? So I think that it's a vital instrument in keeping businesses afloat. So I think just from our perspective at Creatio, we're actually growing throughout the pandemic, because we're providing a service that enables people to adapt more rapidly. Communication service providers are enabling this remote work and keeping businesses alive and the economy flowing. So I'd have to disagree with the analysts on this one. I really believe that CSPs are poised for some serious growth within the next year to 3. I think I would disagree.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. I see the same phenomena in Amdocs, but yeah, I look on the share price. The share price is one of the highest, I think, in 15 years. And we see a lot of momentum with our customers in a lot of digital transformation, which I believe this is the pandemic was a wake-up call for our customers to accelerate their digital journey. So it's not just Amdocs salespeople are coming and pitch them about it. It's a lot about the request and the need coming from their customers. When you don't have shops, you must have a very robust online system, mobile, smart BI, things that will predict what the customer need, not now, but in the next 5 minutes or 5 hours or 5 months. And that's the COVID accelerated. COVID accelerated a lot of the things that were kind of, we can wait with and, stay with our legacy. And think about it, and you see it also in Creatio. Although you are kind of a multi-industry company, telco is one of your main ones. And we are working with you all over the world, in Safaricom, in other places, in North America, of course. You see the demand for digital solutions, and necessity is the mother of all inventions. So project that traditionally would have taken years and transformation, today no one will wait years and not even too many months to start to see the fruits and the ROI for their investment. So there is money that our customers are spending on the digital journey, but it's a completely different methodology and business model. And it's also allowed by technology, because think about it, microservices, agile, DevSecOps, all these, both development processes, cloud natives, and so on and so forth, allows you to deploy much faster things to the market and then grow by that. And which this enables a much more accelerated, digital journey adoption by our customer, whether by cloud native applications, modernize their stack, lift and shift to the cloud, many variations of transformation that we see. Some of them, for example, are starting with the greenfield. There is 5G, there's other solutions, they're investing billions in their network. They cannot keep their IT system behind, because then you're going to the lower denominator. You're going to a situation where your network speed and quality is amazing. But when someone is calling to the call center, why should he call to the call center? He needs to get the same speed of responsiveness and the same speed of accuracy and the same bill accuracy and digital solutions as the network is. And they cannot stay behind. We see an acceleration investment from one of the few of our largest customers, AT&T, for example. They decided it's, everything is public. We're a public company. It was announced, so I'm not going to share any inside information, but AT&T are modernizing now their consumer mobility domain for a full digital solution, deployment of the 5G monetization solution on Amdocs stack. T-Mobile merged with Sprint, became one of the largest carriers for sure in revenue in the world. They decided to put a combined T-Mobile, or the new T-Mobile offering, on a new modernized cloud native solution from OSS to BSS, enabled by Amdocs, that will allow also media services and communication. Vodafone Germany sold this program. This is the largest digital transformation project in the world, at least in this side of the ocean, other than in North America. They are modernizing in the COVID days, and they are accelerating the process in the COVID-19 days of moving to the next generation of offering, because everyone understands that the company that will get out of the COVID much more digital will gain the market in the country, will gain the market. Otherwise, the IT system, the legal IT system that was okay until now, will drag them back to a much slower time to market to the customer, much less sophisticated services, and so on and so forth. Also Globe are modernizing. They are going with us to our new technology for a flawless customer management system in the retail stores and on the web, flawlessly. And I can share with you tens of examples of companies that if you, Eric, and the team were asking me a year ago, how do you see the business engagement with your customer? Whether will be continued demand for digital transformation? I would have said no, there will be a slowdown, uncertainty of the economy, and we see the other way around. They stop the investment in places they do not see an immediate ROI and move to investment in cloud and in digital. And we are happy to be their partners for that, because we anticipated, not the COVID, of course, no one anticipated the COVID, but we anticipated that then something will happen in the market that will accelerate the demand for digital 2-3 years ago, and based on this, we designed our technology. So it's like music to our ears. And frankly, we see great innovation and great momentum in this area.
That's yeah, that's well put. And you know, that what I see is that you know, in my dealings with CSPs and what I've known about them is that you know, as they're growing the number of products and the number of offerings, you know, that often requires a lot of you know, mergers and acquisitions, and through those mergers and acquisitions, we start to see, you know, a lot of disparate technologies being brought into an ecosystem that you know, need to be somehow connected. And you know, what I've noticed is that a lot of that is, you know, legacy systems. So when you're trying to bring all of that together into a cohesive system, it's a challenge for CSPs, you know, to get modern, to get, you know, to that level where you've got to outpace your competition, you know, from multiple, you know, multiple points. Do you see that that traditional legacy technology still being a challenge, you know, going forward, or are you seeing that they're rapidly adapting to that very quickly, you know, through you know, modern technologies like Amdocs and Creatio are providing?
Correct. I think the challenge, legacy will always be a challenge because you are leaving behind some old technology and some databases and mainframe in the old world. But today, with the emergence of different technology and what cloud is enabling, for example, today you can take to the cloud the full legacy flawlessly. We did it with several of our customers, with Astor, with others. You can take to the cloud all the legacy, almost any legacy system, to take it to the cloud and start to optimize the consumption, the infrastructure, anything else that cloud providers, service providers do allow it. But we see that more and more of our customers, and also when you do transformation and you want to move from the legacy to a more modernized solution, it's not a 1-0 game. The microservices allow you to develop quickly and increase even the business processes adoption to the new technology without the need to modernize everything. Because think about it, you can, through the microservices, develop commerce solutions that will sit on top of the legacy. Everything is REST API. All the integration is you know, as part of the microservices and the cloud technology is becoming more and more a commodity to all over the world. So you can adopt much more gradually the investment and the modernization according to the time to market of the solution, like a product catalog. You can put it on top, and we are doing it with some of our customers. Put an enterprise product catalog on top of your legacy and start to launch much faster in a better time to market to a new offering without the need to transform all your legacy. Some of them do decide to transform all the legacy also to the cloud. You know, the cloud reminds me sometimes the NFV. When the NFV came 5-6 years ago, it was like the new buzzword, but the business case was not so much there. So also today, for sure, with the COVID days, our carriers are selectively considering their ROI and what to do in order to modernize and what to take to the cloud versus why they can keep on-prem because of latencies, because of other things. And all this hybrid operation is something that is very traditional today. So some of the application and infrastructure is moving to the cloud, some of them staying on-prem. Together with our managed services offering, we do know, and with the partnership that we have with AWS, with Microsoft Azure, and with Google Cloud, we do know how to flawlessly, without the customer to feel it even, to operate a hybrid model. And that's a benefit that does not require, our customers to take everything to the cloud, but to do it selectively according to the ROI or to the services they want to offer to the customer much faster.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we see that you know, in with our dealings with CSPs as well. Like we see that you know, we have to embrace those legacy systems, but put modern technology on top of that. And you're right, having modern APIs that will allow for that. I could think of you know, one of our CSP customers, Tele2. They have a product catalog of over 13,000 products. That we had to put on top of that, and you know, make it so that it is a smooth transition across their organization. So I definitely would agree with those statements, Arel. And So when we see this shift, right, and you know, all the leading analysts from Deloitte and you know, other organizations are saying that, you know, most companies are embracing that that hybrid model. Up to like 90% are looking towards that. Do you see what do you see as the biggest challenge that CSPs will face as they make that shift, or as they're going through that shift currently?
Mhm. So there are several challenges, and again, this list is being uh, verified and updated, and we keep it fresh as we learn more about cloud migration. So one is the FinOps, how to predict, balance, and optimize the workload and resources in a multi-vendor environment and to save cost. Think about it. One of the main drivers, everyone is coming to the carrier and said, you know, you have a load, for example, during the holidays time. So if you move to the, or business hour time. So if you move to the cloud, so the load could be balanced and you don't need to prepare yourself with an infrastructure, with hardware, with storage that is only for the sunny day scenario or rainy day scenario, define it. But when you move to the cloud, you know, the holiday season is the same holiday season, and working hours are the same working hours if it's in the same territory. So it not necessarily helps to mitigate these loads. So FinOps is one of the first and more relevant challenges that they have. Also, the CI/CD, the cloud migration and digital transformation, is a continuous journey. Each day, more services are being introduced, more capabilities are being introduced, even from other industries. So it's not a one-time effort. So the CI/CD, the infrastructure and foundation is something that is very much important to the continued adoption of the cloud and learn from the others. And we are also offering it, of course, to our customers, as well as you, Creatio, are doing as well. Data center shutdown, we see all over the world. Moving from capex to opex, operating model, selling the customers are selling their data centers to a dedicated company that are basically on a leasing base, renting them back to the carriers, but you are losing a lot of your strengths as a carrier by retiring your data center and relying on third parties. Change management, all the technology, process, people. Think about it. Before the cloud, you know, I was meeting, for example, one of the CIOs of the largest carriers in Europe. It was 3-4 years ago, and I asked him, you know, at that time it was real, but I met him physically in Munich, and I asked him, you know, how are you adopting to the NFV at that time, or to the cloud that just started, but to the NFV? I said, I will never do it. I asked him why. He said, let me tell you why. In my organization today, in my data center, for the network and for the IT, I have 2,000 engineers, that infra people and data center experts that knows each and every server when something is not working. Do you know what does it mean to move to NFV or to software? It means that I need to take these 2,000 people and convert them to be developers, software developers. I will lose all my knowledge and some of my people. Who will do such a thing? Today, there is no other chance. Everything is also combining hardware and software. So the change management in technology, process, and people is extremely challenging for our organizations. You know, when we presented the Amdocs solution to Vodafone, a global technology team, and we presented the case, and also to McKinsey. We met McKinsey. They told us, if you manage to shift all your R&D organization, managed services organization, and delivery organization to do a fully DevOps organization, if you need a transformation, you can make it for your customers, and that's something we are extremely proud of.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. That's a lot to think about as an organization and a lot to consider. So I would agree. That's probably keeps a lot of CIOs up at night thinking about that. So. So I'm going to ask a question in regards to you know, new technology that's being you know, introduced. Now we're at this kind of stay-at-home model. You know, our screen time is going up tremendously, right? Like you know, everything entertainment-wise, business engagements, everything is streaming, and we see that you know, our traditional traditional methods of like, maybe just flat TV watching has changed, right? How do you think that's going to affect CSPs, and how are they going to change in the upcoming years as that market grows for streaming services?
Yeah, that's something that we see indeed evolving, Erin, and thank you for the question, because it's very much in alignment, with the Amdocs strategy. So in the content and the media world, they want to be the next Netflix, and even more than Netflix, for their end customers, and provide a flawless, over-the-top streaming entertainment experience with rich personality, personalized library and gaming. Think about it. Unlike the Netflix of the world, the carriers who has also the network know much more about the customers and the families and where they work and where they have been, and on a real time, of course, under GDPR and all the regulation that applies, but they have the customer knowledge and data, that they can make the experience of the media to their customer through an over-the-top play also much more appealing and much more customer oriented and customer experience focused. The second aspect of it is the focus, other than the personalized streaming and experience, is the distribution through the 5G technology. The 5G technology allows the best viewing experience in speed. They are the one, unlike the over-the-top layers, the Amazon of the world, the Netflix of the world, the Google of the world, the ones who are holding the network and invest in the network are the telcos, are the CSPs. They can do the smart investment that they in any case will do in 5G. It's just a matter of time, but we see it really accelerating in North America and in Europe now, and also other continents are talking about 5G investment and how everything should be 5G ready. That can use also for better gaming experience, for example, differentiating their customers versus the others by much better view, much better speed of quality, and that could change the way of customer experience. And again, without a very good digital solution for them, they will not be able to do it. So 5G for itself is not enough. Content for itself and ability to do a personalized thing is not enough. You need a very robust digital engagement with your customers and a very sophisticated machine learning based BI platform to do it personalized. Another thing that we are seeing through our very successful Ubiquity media arm is we are strengthening our footprint around the world by providing service provider with the transaction-based offering for premium studio content. So you can do on a SaaS model a premium media or content to our customers through a global contract that Amdocs have today with all the studios, with of course the key studios in the world, and also combine local content with international content. And that's something that is that, for example, for a mobile carrier, traditionally mobile carrier that want to compete with a traditional media player through an over-the-top solution that is relatively fast to market, when Amdocs through Ubiquity brings all the relationship with the content providers, that could significantly increase their ARPU and their customer experience engagement. We have examples like A1 in Telecom Austria, LGI, including of course its local UK arm, Virgin, Sky, and others are a very good, and also Cellcom and partner in Israel, by the way. They were building nicely based on the Ubiquity technology and content media relationship, their over-the-top TV offering, and they are also combining it with their mobile offering. A very interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're right. We see that CSPs are spending tens of billions of dollars. I think I have a statistic here from IDC that says mobile service providers are collectively going to spend 57 billion on the rollout of 5G through 2022. I mean, that's a very large figure, and you're right. I'm here in North America. That's if you don't hear 5G at least 10 times a day, you'd be surprised. How do you think that providers are going to be able to ensure that they see a return on that investment? Right, this is a heavy investment for them, and we know that mobile providers are always, upgrading the network, ensuring the network quality, but this is a real shift, right? This is a new technology, 5G. It's going to enable all of the great things that you just had mentioned. How are they going to make sure that they see a return on investment with that?
It's the 57 billion good question, and at least the way, and that we are talking, as you said, rightfully, Eric, until 2022. It's much larger investment from there. So I will not try to be the best CFO of any carrier and to come with a great business case, all of this. But I think two things are happening and they need to take into it. Specifically for their customers, they must bring top quality, top experience, 5G powered services with new applications, lots of entertainment, a new SaaS business model, and basically consolidating underneath them a lot of smaller companies, startup or not startup, and be the stock exchange of 5G powered services. Even if not everything like the traditional voice or the traditional data services, it's beyond infrastructure, is the applications that can be offered both for the consumer or for the SMB, for example, the new ERP, or whatever you name it. It's beyond what they call beyond connectivity. They must go beyond connectivity. So this is one trend, and under the very leading strategy of 5G powered services. It's a different experience both for the consumer and for the enterprise and SMB customers. But more than this, if some of you recall, 6-7 years ago, when all the over-the-top player became, much more dominant. I'm living in Israel, so for example, if I'm watching YouTube and YouTube is working well, so my son will say, "Wow, what an amazing application YouTube is." When it's not working well, he said, "What a bad CSP Cellcom is," because we are on Cellcom, and that's what they're experiencing. That's what brought them to be called the dumb pipes. So the stupid one, sorry for the word, that will just being used to invest in the network, when all the credibility will go to the niche, to the application players. But now, with the 5G capabilities, it's the other way around. They are going to be the smart pipes. Because if, for example, until recently, without the 5G, you were providing basically telco services and some over-the-top services on your network. Today, with the right and smart investment in 5G capabilities, you are going to be the infrastructure for the smart cities, for the autonomous cars, for healthcare that is going to be. So they open themselves to be the best infrastructure, smart infrastructure player for many industries that are becoming much more relevant because they will ride on 5G services. The autonomous car, if there will not be a good 5G platform, look on NEOM, the new city in Saudi Arabia, $500 billion budget to invest in infrastructure to make it the best smart city in the world. It's based on 5G. And who was awarded? STC, the Saudi telecom company, was awarded to give the infrastructure for this entire city. And I'm not talking the autonomous cars and everything. That will generate different financial and commercial model that will allow them basically to promote many services that were not part of telco until now even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, you brought up a good example, and I can think of a good example of this. You mentioned healthcare. I think, as robotic surgery becomes more and more, relevant nowadays, not that it's a new technology. I mean, I think the first remote surgery was done back in like 2002, where a doctor here in New York, in the US, performed surgery remotely on a patient in France. But as that technology has grown, now 5G enables that to happen even more. Right now, a physician can act like they're in an operating room clear across the world, right? And that's really the power of 5G. I think that.
And think about it, Eric, that if today in the 4G or 3G technology, if this surgery is being done by the robot and then they will start with rebuffering in the middle of the surgery, it's not the best experience that I could imagine.
Exactly. And I don't know if I would trust it myself, but 5G may enable that going forward, Harel. Perfect. So I think that that brings us to our the end of our questions. So and we're pretty much right at time. So I think we might have a chance to answer maybe one question from the audience. And I see that we have one here in chat. It's a great question actually, and I think that this not only is applicable to CSPs, but just the business world in general. Do you think that data on its own is going to become a commodity, right? And if so, how long do you think before that happens? I'm interested to hear your take on that.
Data is already a commodity, but like books are commodity. The fact that they are a commodity does not mean there is so much that art is also a commodity. You can call everything a commodity. The question is what you're doing with it. The question to where you take it. So yes, data is commodity, shoes are commodity, many things are commodity, but commodity is only the foundation for things that are really exciting. So yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think how long before it happens. I think it's already here, right? Data is king. Nobody traditionally has a data problem. It's what you do with that data, right? It's an analysis problem. And how do we leverage that data to make better decisions for our organizations, whether you're a CSP or any industry? You could just name that. Here at Creatio, where we have to analyze that data. So I would agree. I don't think it's how long. It's already here. Now what do we do?
I agree. That's exactly what you're doing in Creatio. Data is a commodity, but you are differentiating the ones that are better analyzing, better personalization, better think what to do with the data. This will be the differentiation of the companies, and your Creatio are doing it in a wonderful way.
Yeah, same with Amdocs. We know that. So, Harel, this has been a wonderful discussion. I mean, you're a wealth of knowledge on this subject. So hopefully the audience, enjoyed it as much as I did. We really appreciate everybody taking some time with us today. I know that we have more and more of these discussions planned in the future. You can come out to, I know from the Creatio side, we have a YouTube channel. Come out, all of this content is there, ready to repurpose and utilize later. But again, Harel, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your evening. My day is just getting started here in Boston. So thank you again.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for the opportunity and happy to be here. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks.